My next guest is going to be rematching Tom Aspinall, this time for some hardware, the interim UFC heavyweight title. UFC 304, July 27th. It's Curtis Blaydes back here on the program. Curtis, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing awesome. I'm getting you at a workout today. Is it like strength and conditioning, or what are you getting up to?
Just normal MMA type drills, grappling with small gloves, stuff like that.
Good stuff, man. When did you find out about the fight? Obviously, we found out maybe a week or two ago. When did you find out this fight was official?
Like 4 days before it was announced.
Okay. That's awesome. Were you worried at all you weren't going to get this fight? I know there wasn't many other options. You know, there was Ciryl Gane maybe, but were you pretty confident this was the next fight for you?
No, mentally I was already planning on taking my girlfriend out to Japan. And I wasn't going to sit around and wait. I was under the impression the UFC offered the fight to Gane first, and they gave him about two weeks to decide if he wanted to take it. While he was just fighting, I was planning and taking hotels for Japan. So I had already mentally moved on and was preparing to enjoy the summer.
Interesting. Were you able to cancel everything with Japan or reschedule it with that trip?
Yeah, everything is all good. We'll do it after the fight.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that's cool. Are you surprised Gane turned down the fight?
He knows he'll get another one. He's already had 2 title shots. I'm pretty sure I agree with him. He'll get at least one more, if not 2 more. He's French. Obviously, the UFC wants that market. He's the biggest name they have right now, so they want him to be on TV and fighting for having fights that really matter as often as possible. So I wouldn't be shocked if they offered, if I beat Aspinall and they offered me him. I would not be shocked.
Were you surprised, though, they offered Gane the shot first than you just because you've been a bit more active than he has?
No, again, he brings in a lot more. It's not about meritocracy. I learned that years and years ago. It's about who brings the asses in the seats, and that's one thing I haven't mastered. Although I haven't really put a whole lot of energy into that. I put all my energy into growing in the gym.
Were you worried at all as well about those rumors about maybe Aspinall and Pereira? There was some talk about maybe that happening at 301. Did you think there was any substance to that, or do you think that never was going to happen?
That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing people forget is, like, what does Aspinall have to gain from fighting Pereira on that short of notice in Brazil as well? That's the thing I never got.
Well, it always depends if you're asking from the perspective of a casual fan or an actual educated MMA fan. A casual fan would see Aspinall beat Pereira and they would think he's the GOAT because they don't understand MMA, the history, and all that stuff. Educated fan, it wouldn't have improved your how you view Aspinall. But if you're a casual, which I believe 70%, maybe even or I believe that's the majority of the MMA or UFC fans are casuals. Those are the ones that pay. Those are the ones that buy the merchandise and everything. And those are the ones who determine who gets a title shot. If you're popular with the casuals, that's like half the battle. So I think from their perspective, they would have enjoyed seeing him versus uh, Alex Pereira, but I don't think it would have. I don't think that was ever actually going to happen.
Your first fight with Aspinall was really quick, ended in the first round. Do you feel like there's any areas he's improved on since your first fight or anything like that?
No, and not to be disrespectful, but why would he? I mean, I'm sure he is improving on things, but you don't really emphasize growth until after you've had a loss. And that's just, well, at least that's my personal view. That's my experience, and from talking to other guys, why would you force yourself to go outside of your comfort zone if you're already having success? He doesn't have to add anything. He goes in, he sprints, 1-2, 1-2 down the pipe. It lands, he wins. So I think that's his game plan. He's gonna come out fast, look to hit me with the one, too early, and yeah, anything beyond that, uh, I guess we'll have to see.
Is there any areas you feel like you've improved since the first fight?
Yeah, my footwork, because I've had some L's, so I've had to grow. I feel like my footwork's gotten better, my grappling, my jiu-jitsu. But again, we'll have to see. I'm sure if you ask him, he'll have a different response. We'll see.
I know training camp's been going well. Before we talk about who you've mainly been working with, how is it having Dominick Reyes in camp with you guys? I know you guys go way back, dating back to when you guys used to be rep by the same manager.
He was only here for that week. He's getting prepared for his fight, so I don't want to take him too much off of his routine. I do appreciate him coming out here for the week he did. The rounds were great. He's the best striker I'll have an opportunity to like spar with out of anyone I have. But that's also because he's Dominick Reyes, the guy who beat Jon Jones. Um, it was awesome having him here for the week he was here, and I wish him the best of luck in his upcoming fight.
Anything different for you as far as training partners and guys you got to work with for this camp?
Same old, same old. It's not broke. I don't plan on fixing it. It's Zach, Honda, Vanilla, Ty Flores, same same old people I've been working with since I moved out here. I like those guys. We have a good relationship. I don't see a need to toss in random elements and potentially screw up a good thing.
Absolutely. When are you going to be heading down to England? Do you know that yet as far as your itinerary?
We don't know yet. We're still discussing that because obviously the times that we'll be fighting is it's not the norms. So we'll have to. We probably won't have it figured out until maybe a week out because it's unique. It's weird. We're gonna have to brainstorm about how we want to do it. That's not really a focus right now because I don't care if I'm tired. It's a belt, so I'll wake the fuck up. So
Yeah.
That's at the bottom of the list. Right now, we're just working on the conditioning and being as prepared as we can be.
Don't you think the time this card's on is actually a disadvantage to Tom because it's pretty much on your time or at least on US time as far as when the card's going to be shown? For Tom, it's going to be early in the morning. Do you see him having to probably, train earlier or whatever to make up for the time and that being a bit of an advantage to you?
I have no idea. You can't. Nobody knows what other guys are doing in their camps. Even if they tell you something, you could have lied. I could have lied. I could have lied to you. Maybe I am doing evening workouts. Like it's impossible to know. So I'm not worried about it. Like regardless of what time he's putting in the work, I'm sure he will be putting in the work, and I expect him to be at the best of his abilities.
How do you see this fight playing out on July 27th?
I see me getting a first round knockout within the first 25 seconds of the fight.
Do you care that you're the co-main event of this card instead of the main event? I know it's an interim title, but typically the heavier weight classes usually headline the card.
The money's the same. No, I
Okay.
don't care.
Okay, fair enough. And speaking of money, did you get a new contract or is this still your old contract just with different money?
It's still the old contract. This will be my third out of 4 fights.
Okay, so this one's kind of big, right? Because obviously, if you win this, well, you'll be an interim title holder, but also like to renegotiate on that last fight off a win's a pretty big negotiating chip.
We'll see, because I don't see the UFC like paying me the bag regardless of what I do, but having an opportunity to get the belt. That's enough for me.
Yeah. And you've sort of talked about it before. Like you do, I think a lot of fans feel like this is the real belt because Jon Jones just isn't fighting the number one contender right now with Stipe being out and everything. So I think, your sort of mentality is this is the real belt and this is your chance to win UFC gold.
Yeah. I don't he could prove me wrong, but I don't believe John's going to continue fighting after the Stipe fight. He'd have to prove me wrong, but as of right now, that's my belief.
What do you think about Jon? I don't know if you've been paying attention to social media, but him, like, talking back to fans and all that. Do you find that entertaining, or do you think it's kind of like a waste of time for him?
Well, for him, from his perspective, it probably is entertaining. I don't really, I don't pay attention to like any of that because I know it's a waste of time. So I used to argue with fans and all that yada. It's a waste of energy. They just want to get a rise out of you.
And we sort of talked about it earlier. It's your understanding that Gane's going to get the winner of this, or who do you think could get the winner of this fight?
I mean, he's probably on the short list.
Mhm.
I know they just offered it to him, so why wouldn't they offer it to him again? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides him, maybe the winner of Sergey and Alexander Volkov, maybe them, or yeah, it's either him or Sergey. I mean, or Gane.
Do you think there's any chance Pereira could get the next shot if, let's say, he fights someone at light heavyweight? Because it seems like the UFC, I don't know what it is, they're really pushing him a lot, and I could, there was rumblings about him going to heavyweight.
He could do it. No, it depends on him. If he wanted to fight Aspinall, he could have had this opportunity.
Right.
I fully believe if he called Dana White right now, was like, "Yo, actually, on second thought, I'll go to England. I'll fight him." If the UFC would call me right now and be like, "Yeah, bad news, bud." And I get it. It's business. This is not a meritocracy. What you do in the cage does not matter. What you do outside of the cage, how you these interviews like this, how you talk smack, how you what you do on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever. That's what gets you title fights because that's what the casual fans want to see.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And if you were to fight Pereira, how do you look at that fight stylistically? Obviously, he's got knockout power. He's good. But what do you make of how Pereira would do at heavyweight?
He loses. And I'm going to take him down because I know he has knockout power. I'm going to take him down immediately. I'm not going to take the risk. I know people will be booing, "Oh, that sucks." No, I don't care. He doesn't know how to wrestle. So I wrestle him.
There we go. Your teammate, Cory Sandhagen, obviously having to go down and fight Umar in the Middle East. Do you think that's fair with him being the higher ranked fighter? Or do you think it's just one of those things, it's business, right? They want to have Umar in the Middle East.
It's business. There is nothing fair in the UFC. It's not a meritocracy. It's not the NFL, NBA, where you earn things. It's Umar. We get it. Like you hit the nail on the head right there. Umar, Middle East. That's why they're going there. Is it fair? No. But does it matter? No.
Are you going to be watching Jake Paul and Mike Tyson? What do you think of that boxing fight?
I will not be watching. I think it's a joke fight. You could tell just by how they've been interacting with the face-off and the press conference. That's not the Mike Tyson who's coming to rip your head off. That ain't Iron Mike.
And then same sort of thing. What do you make of Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen in boxing?
Not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest like freak like fan. As for casuals who just want to see old guys hit each other, I really don't want to see old people getting further ETE head damage.
Oh, how's your daughter doing?
She's doing good. She's doing good.
She in any sports right now or doing anything? Obviously, the school year's still going on.
No, that's in school right now. Just enjoying the life of a 5-year-old.
There you go. Is she? I imagine she's not coming down to England for the fight.
No, she'll be with her mom. That's actually the week of her birthday, so I don't know what they'll be doing.
Gotcha. And then just remind me again, when are you going to Japan? So it's right after the fight, you think?
Yeah, I'll probably be in Japan first or second week of August. It depends. I might go to Abu Dhabi first to watch that Umar Sandhagen fight.
Okay. Makes sense. And imagine just going to Japan. I'm sure it's safe to assume you'd love to fight in Japan sometime.
Oh yeah, and that's on the bucket list. Like it's always on the bucket list just to visit. But yeah, that'd be awesome to actually get to fight there. I know Japan, they have a lot of combat sports fans, and the history over there is long and rich and deep. So yeah, that would be that'd be dope.
Yeah, and a little bit more respectful fans, right? Maybe you see some wrestling, they're not going to boo, right? So that's a bonus as well, right?
That too.
Yeah, for sure.
Educated MMA fans, that's rare. That's
Yeah.
rare these days.
Curtis, thanks for doing this, man. I'll let you get back to your workout. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, sponsors, social media, anything like that, I'll give you the last word.
No, I ain't got no sponsors yet. Hope to get some sponsors after this fight though.